What's going on, everyone? I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scrub, and I'm feeling scummy today. Yeah, I'm playing one of those decks in GOAT format that might be worse than Norlaris and Edison, where absolutely no one likes playing against it, but I also do have fun playing these decks, because I just think they're really, really fun, and you don't get to do it in any format besides GOAT. If you can't tell already, we're playing a final countdown last turn, because what's better than one win condition is two alternate win conditions. So we're running last turn in Jowgen while revealing light, all the cards that make that work, but preferably I want to try to get a final countdown win today. So it's Final Countdown and Kaiser Coliseum's kind of the lockout. The goal is to put a monster on board, whether it's Spirit Reaper, Big Shield Gardener, or Jowgen, into Kaiser Coliseum, and then just stop your opponent from doing absolutely anything to get through that lock. And hopefully you can go 20 turns and win with Final Countdown. So that's the game plan. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to save the deck and just set as default, and let's go ahead join the GOAT format pool. Thank you all who have subscribed recently. I'm at like 430, I think, right now, which I know it's not a lot in the grand scheme of like Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTubers or just any YouTubers, but like, I don't know. I've gained a bunch since I started reposting, and it makes me want to keep making videos. It makes me happy. So consider hitting that button to make me happy. I hope that everyone's day, as always, is going fantastic. If not, stop watching my video, because I don't think that watching me make people mad with Final Countdown is going to make your day any better. Go, like, read a book, touch grass, hug someone, and then you can come back and show them my video, and then make them subscribe, and then exponential growth, because if you make someone subscribe, you may make 2 other people subscribe, and then it, becomes 1 billion after, like, 8 days. Alright, come on. There we go. I'm going to pick scissors. I've been picking scissors a lot recently. I'm in a snippy mood, I suppose. Opponent has the Gores photo, and we lose rock, paper, scissors. Unfortunate. I'm the worst player to ever play this game. Let me know what decks you want me to play in Edison, GOAT, and maybe even Hat format. I've been a little intrigued to play some Hat recently. Opponent opens up with a Graceful Charity, but leave deck suggestions, because I want to do the little show in a comment. I used to do it in my old videos. I kind of forgot that I was doing it, but I take a screenshot of the comment, and then you can see a name. Oh, he's playing also a deck. Okay, but yeah, it can be kind of fun. So leave comments. Opponent sets 3 back row, chain energy. Stand by main. 2,500 life points, paying 2,500 for the chain energy. And then we will just set Spirit Reaper, paying another 500. And I think we'll just we'll pay another 500 and set the Jar of Greed, but I think that's good. End phase, put 1 token on Final Countdown. So he's playing Chain Energy Burn, so unfortunately I don't think this is a great matchup for us. Secret Barrel, I have 1, 2, 3, 6 cards. I eat 1,200. Giant Trunade. I should have actually changed Jar of Greed. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's not a continuous. I did. Yeah, okay, so he realizes. Just doing it for the sake of ease to show the counter on the field. He sets 2 more back row and Chain Energy. Final Countdown will go to 2. Get Solemn Judgment. I feel like we might have to. I think we're good for now just to end our turn. Absolutely should have used the Jar of Greed on the Trunade. Level limit area B. We'll end phase, put another token. So this is a slow game, but this is going to be what you get when you play a burn deck against a final countdown deck. But interesting matchup nonetheless. You don't see it every single day. I was like, why didn't he click anything? It's because I clicked end phase, not end turn. Put another token. Get another Jowgen. We'll go ahead. Discard final countdown for hand size. I mean, we're in a decent-ish position. Okay, opponent pays 500 to set a card. Kaiser Coliseum. We'll pay 500. And yeah, that's game. I mean, he was going to be able to activate it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Solemn, or final countdown, obviously doesn't count as being on the field. I may have actually taken 200 more life points. We're at 10. Wall of Revealing Light. $11. He's 500 more. Interesting deck he's running. So my only hope is that he somehow activates a True Nade but doesn't put the chain energy back down. Pays 500, activates Pot of Greed. I mean, although I obviously can't control it, I do apologize, because this is not the matchup I was hoping for. And 13 counters on final countdown. He activates a Jar of Greed. The way to beat chain energy is to... Okay, Death Koala. That's game. Don't really need Threatening Roars. Magic Jammer seems good. Prohibition seems pretty good. And Mobius seems alright. I think I can get rid of Big Shield Gardna, Breaker. Get rid of the Gardnas. Get rid of Area B. And Skill Drain seems alright. Maybe over. No, Skill Drain's better with the Gardnas. Maybe bring in Gardnas over the Spirit Reaper. And Skill Drain over Swords and Level Limit. Just go on back row hate rather than stopping his attacks. Alright, standby main. pretty good hand here. We'll upstart Goblin to start. Activate Final Countdown, paying 2,000 life points. And then Prohibition. Maybe Magic Jammer. And Prohibition. Calling. Prohibition, what do we want to stop him from using? Secret Barrel. Next we'll set and activate Kaiser. End phase, put 1 token on final counter and end. So we can only put 1 monster on the field. Magic Jammer can negate his spell trap, a spell card. I'll let him activate Pot of Greed. I don't think negating that with Magic Jammer is worth it. He sets 1 back row, 2 back row, 3 back row. Summons Giant Rat, activates Chain Energy. I will on the Chain Energy. Unfortunately, Jowgen gets destroyed. But 2 tokens go on final countdown. 3 tokens. Three Ojama tokens get put on my side of the field. He activates Jar of Greed. That's 4 tokens. Graceful Charity. I think I'll just hold that for now. Put 5 tokens on final countdown. The Kaiser Coliseum doesn't actually do too much because of the Ojama trio. But now we can't summon any more monsters. But I do get myself a Mobius. He can't activate Secret Barrel. Wall of Revealing Light, also another token goes on final countdown. Okay. Start with Pot of Greed. Get Upstart, Skill Drain. Activate Upstart. It can't be tributed for a tribute summon. So we'll go ahead, summon Breaker. We'll each take 1,600. It's 16. If you... Okay, yeah. So, if you don't know that ruling, he has to chain Ring of Destruction before the token gets put on Breaker, otherwise I'd have priority to use the effect. Unfortunately, though, I now can't tribute over the tokens, so I'm going to have to set a Jowgen next turn. We'll go ahead, end phase, put another token on. He can't put monsters on the board, though. So he's limited to spells and traps. I'll eat 15. Well, now we can put spells and traps on the, or monsters on the board. YuGiOh Panda. Yep, that's game. Unfortunate. Apologies, I didn't say good game to my opponent. I just want to get some matches in. I'm trying to record pretty quickly here. And frankly, I really just... these matches are so slow that I want to get games in. Every second counts playing Final Countdown. No one wants to play against it, apparently, though. No one's playing GOAT format right now. Hopefully you guys liked yesterday's video, or maybe 2 days ago. One of my most intense, crazy matches that I've ever had playing a GOAT format duel. It was absolutely insane. Myself playing a Fusion Rescue Cat deck, my opponent playing Chaos, and me sneaking a win in a pretty epic fashion. You know, who doesn't love a good top deck at the end of a game? And yeah, call me lucky, absolutely, but just the fact that I was able to stay in the game at all with a really interesting deck. One of the reasons I like GOAT format, because like Edison, you know, I just think the retro formats have such better deck building than modern formats, where it's like, let's run 15 hand traps, and then your engine cards, and then like staples on if you're going second. It's like, let's play Lightning Storm. It's no fun at all. This is a hand, okay. Spirit Reaper, Kaiser Coliseum, Final Countdown, last turn, Jar of Greed. So we'll activate Final Countdown. Set Spirit Reaper, activate Kaiser Coliseum, set Jar of Greed. No need to set last turn yet. We'll put 1 token on Final Countdown. Kaiser Coliseum is a really interesting card, banned, I believe, in the modern format, unless it got unbanned. I think it was at its best. I first kind of, not just want to say fell in love with the card, but really grew an appreciation for it in a hat format playing Bujins. I think that putting a Yamato or a Susanoo on field, if you're familiar with that format, but basically it's a protect the castle kind of deck. We'll activate Jar of Greed, getting a Threatening Roar, but unfortunately Kaiser and Jar of Greed go away. Countdown isn't actually continuous. It's a Blade Knight. Can't get over Spirit Reaper. And we'll put another counter on Final Countdown. We will set Threatening Roar and end. If we get a Wall of Revealing Light. Alright, well, we gotta discard last turn in Jowgen, keeping the other last turn. And we'll activate Threatening Roar. Level Limit Area B, good card. So he's already used Heavy, so MST, unless he's got a Dust Tornado, which he is playing Warriors, which often run Dust Tornado. Final Countdown is at 6 now. Playing Swords of Revealing Light, interestingly enough. Get a Jar of Greed. Final Countdown is at 8. Honestly, the Swords of Revealing Light helps me, because now, well, actually, Big Shield Garden, I couldn't get Nobleman across out. It's basically the Nobleman across out Destroyer. But we're putting big monsters on the board. And we will eat 1,500. Threatening Roar. Another counter goes on final countdown. I feel like I missed a counter somewhere, because it should be even on the end of his turn, odd at the end of mine. Does he want me to shuffle? Nope, no shuffling. Well, he's got the counter with the decree. And that's going to be game. Okay, so we can't have decree on field. We will bring in Breaker, Mobius. Jowgen's still pretty good. Let's get rid of... Last turn is just so good, and Wall of Revealing Light's pretty good. Maybe one wall. And we'll just go super heavy. Not Messenger. Messenger's actually not too bad. Magic Jammer instead, though. We'll go super in on the final countdown and the negating of any way to destroy them. Okay. Well, I think we might have game already. All we need is... We'll activate 2,000. Then we'll do Prohibition, Prohibition, Heavy Storm, Royal Decree, Bind, Magic Jammer. And one counter on final countdown. That's fine. Can't stop that, yep. 2 counters on final countdown. Jar of Greed. 3 counters on final countdown. We'll activate Mobius, or Jar of Greed. Unfortunately, Mobius will destroy our Gravity Bind. 4 counters on final countdown. Get another Jar of Greed. Set the Spirit Reaper. Set Jar of Greed. 5 counters on final countdown. And of course now we draw Big Shield Gardna, and that's game. Okay. GG's. I want 1 win with final countdown. We're at 24 minutes. This might be the final match that we actually go for it. You guys know me. I don't play good decks, but I'm trying to have fun here. Hopefully you guys are having fun watching me be sad, trying to get this terrible alternate win condition. Because want to know what would just win in less than 20 turns? An actual deck. Alright, opening hand. Well, at least we keep seeing final countdown in our opening hands. Then we will... Let's activate Upstart Goblin. Then we will set Threatening Roar, set Big Shield Gardna, and put 1 counter on final countdown. Even just 1 game win. I don't need a match win right now, but 1 game, please. That's fine. Opponent Graceful Charities. Discarding a Jar of Greed. It was. If you guys want a suggested deck, you can suggest like a card you want me to play. We will Threatening Roar in response to its Breaker, which is why I didn't want to set Wall of Revealing Light. We get a Solemn Judgment. So we'll go ahead, activate Area B, set Solemn, set Wall, put a counter on Final Countdown, and end. These are the kinds of decks that you want to go against. It's kind of a counter to the meta, just because they aren't always prepared for Final Countdown. We'll go ahead, activate Kaiser Coliseum, and end. Might be looking at Kaiser Coliseum, wondering what is this card. I believe what he can do, though, is he is allowed to tribute, because he's already at more monsters than me, he can continue to play. It's one of those cards that also, like Necro Valley, I believe, has had a bunch of ruling changes in the past regarding if you could get more cards. Like, if he's already at 2 when I activate it, can he just keep playing more? He Graceful Charities after flipping Magician of Faith. But it could be in GOAT format that, because he's at 2, he can't put any more on the field. I believe the ruling I'm familiar with, at least, I know it was like around 2013, was that if I activate it and he already had more, then he can continue to play more. But if he somehow, like, obviously there's no synchros in this format, but if he was to say synchro or tribute both of them for a DMOC, then because we're both at 1, he couldn't continue to go more. We'll put the Final Countdown counter. Standby main. I'm just going to move that there so I can activate Pot of Greed. Getting Judgment and a Mirror Force. We'll set Judgment and end. Putting another counter on Final Countdown. Don't need to negate the Delinquent Duo. We get Big Shield Gardna. Now I think I might set the Big Shield Gardna, because since it puts us at 2, he can't put any more monsters on the field. So we'll set Big Shield Gardna and end, putting a 9th counter on Final Countdown. This is, I think, the closest we're going to come. This is feeling really good right now. He activates Thunder Dragon. Getting 2 more Thunder Dragon. He has a Light Engrave and Sinister Serpent, which he hasn't added. Makes me think he might have a Regeki Break. Maybe not in hand, but in his deck. Get Graceful Charity. Fine by me. We'll end, putting an 11th counter. He can't put any more monsters on the board. And we got 2 Solemn Judgments. That's fine, I suppose. Activate Ring of Destruction. I'll eat 16. I will negate the BLS. Don't want him having a BLS on the board to start eating through all my monsters. Putting a 12th counter on Final Countdown. Get MST. We'll go ahead, activate MST, hitting that back row. It's a Regeki break. What's he going to target? I think I'm going to negate that with Solemn. Let's go ahead and activate Graceful Charity. Drawing Swords, Gravity Bind, Kaiser. Getting rid of Kaiser and Swords. Set Gravity Bind, put a counter, and end our turn. So Wall is now pretty much dead. Nobleman gets eaten up by the Big Shield Gardener. Putting a 14 counter. We're getting close. We are getting very close now. 15 counters on Final Countdown. Another Big Shield Gardener. $16 counters. Get Jar of Greed. We'll set Jar of Greed. End turn. 17 counters. Let's go. 3 more turns. 3 more turns. But we're getting very close to not having any more life points, which would lose us the game. 18 counters. Do I dare set a Spirit Reaper? We'll activate the Jar of Greed. And no, we don't want to set Spirit Reaper because he would have to put a monster. We're not going to set it. But what he can do is, actually, you have to have a level 3 with 1200 or more attack, which I don't think he runs, but he could flip Magician of Faith. To attack. Attack Big Shield Gardener. Summons Gravekeeper's Spy. He eats 2300. And that's game. Okay, we got the 1 win with Final Countdown. Okay. Now, what do we want to bring in? Banisher of the Light could be interesting. Just thinking. Threatening Roar buys us 1 turn. But Banisher, Prohibition, and Skill Drain. Let's see how this goes. Banisher is just good against his Chaos deck, and it has 2000 defense. If we get last turn, then we can win with Wall of the Revealing Light Jowgen. That's why I wanted to keep him in. So he opens up with a Thunder Dragon. Getting Thunder Dragon, just 1 or 2. He's getting 2. I feel like I always open up with 2 Thunder Dragons. My opponent never does. He Upstart Goblins. Another Upstart Goblin. Give me all the life points. Pay for my Final Countdown. Thank you very much. Graceful Charity. Sending 2 Thunder Dragons. Okay, so he's got 3 lights engraved, no darks. Sets 1 back row and 1 monster. We draw Jar of Greed. Let's upstart Goblin. Get level limit area B. So we'll set Jar of Greed and summon level, or use level limit. Don't want to take too much damage. He summons a Sangan. We'll eat 1,000. That's fine. Get a Kaiser Coliseum. We'll activate Jar of Greed. Get a Solemn Judgment. Okay. I really just want to find a last turn here. Let's go ahead. Activate MST. It's a Dust Tornado. A-okay by me. Then we will set Jowgen, activate Kaiser Coliseum, set Mirror Force, and set Solemn Judgment. And we might as well set Wall, since we have the Judgment face down. The opponent activates Heavy Storm. Obviously, we're going to negate that with Solemn Judgment because we don't want to lose immediately. Activates Night Assailant from the flip effect. And we'll Mirror Force. It'll give him a search, but we're probably going to lose this game, but it's okay. It's only game 2. We won game 1. We've just gone really neg. Our hand was okay, but that Heavy Storm blew us out a little bit. The Night Assailant also, because we would have been able to wall, and I would have felt fine with a Jowgen. Jowgen negating his special summons would have been good. Let's go ahead, activate Graceful Charity. Final Countdown, Jar, Skill Drain. We have to send Jar to grave and Skill Drain to grave. Activate Final Countdown. Probably a little too late, but it's fine. At least give us a win condition on our way. He activates Pot of Greed. He's got Darks and Grave. Yeah, this is going to be game. Absolutely. If he banishes any Lights and Darks. Okay. We're just going to go to game 2. Or game 3, I apologize. Let's bring in Magic Jammer. Let's take out the Banisher. Messenger of Peace doesn't seem too good. Magic Jammer over the Skill Drain. We're just gonna do exactly what... kind of bring in what we had before, what won us the game. Alright, let's go. Last turn, Jowgen, Wall of Revealing Light. That could be it. Pot of Greed. Graceful Charity. Okay. Let's discard Jar of Greed in Big Shield Gardener. Summon Jowgen. Activate Kaiser. Set 4 with 2 Judgments, Wall of Revealing Light, and Magic Jammer. Opponent can only put 1 monster on the board, and he cannot do a bunch to activate. Think. We have to go ahead and just negate that normal summon. We can't let him pop the Jowgen. Too important. We get MST. We'll go ahead, change Jowgen to defense, and end. We just need last turn. 2 out of 28, 1 out of a 14 chance. Jar of Greed, A-okay. I'm not going to judgment that 1 for 1. He sets another back row and ends. We get Messenger of Peace. We'll just end. Feeling okay here. He's got 7 cards, we have 8. Thank you to Pot of Greed. Come on, last turn. Jar of Greed, which will get us 1 draw closer to the last turn that we're looking for. Activate Jar of Greed. Decree. Nope. Draw Magic Jammer. Level limit area B. Not any closer. We'll end. Come on, last turn, last turn, last turn, last turn. I don't know if any of you are as excited as I am to potentially get it. That's fine. We'll go ahead, pay 3,000 to put ourselves in last turn range. Pay 500 to negate the Dust Tornado. Gotta keep it on board. And end phase comes. We get Spirit Reaper. We'll go ahead, MST the set. It was a Nobleman. We'll set another Magic Jammer just because MST or Heavy Storm could mess us up. He discards Thunder Dragon, getting himself more Thunder Dragons. 1 Thunder Dragon, and 2, I imagine. Gotta love coffee. Coffee is so good. Even though I really should cut back on the caffeine. What's he gonna pop? He pops Wall of Revealing Light. So this lets him attack, unfortunately. He discards a Dark into Koichi. We'll set Spirit Reaper. Activate level limit area B and set Judgment. He can't put more monsters on the field. He just ends. We get another Spirit Reaper. We'll end. Come on, where is all of our cards? Final countdown's off the board, but we still have last turn. That is our only win condition right now, given the amount of life points we're at. And then frankly, it's not even a win condition now. It is a draw condition. We'll get 1,000 life points from Upstart Goblin. Wall of Revealing Light. We'll end. Gosh. Opponent has more cards than me, so I would lose by deck out. Final countdown. A little upset. Not one last turn in half our deck. I know the odds would basically say it's 50-50. Let's go ahead and judgment this. I don't want him getting more cards, and I want to be under 1,000 life points, so if I draw last turn, I can immediately use it. Speaking of... Okay. Now, do we want to wait for another Jowgen? Nope, we're just gonna use last turn. Okay, so everything goes to grave. Possessed Dark Soul. Interesting. And last turn, he's got to special summon a monster from his deck. Doesn't target. I did look up this ruling. Spirit Reaper in last turn. The Reaper is not targeted. So, off or draw. That's how this would work. Okay. We'll go back in. Maybe Prohibition over the Messenger of Peace. That's one change I'll make. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Let's pick rock. Pick paper. Pick scissors. Yeah! Just keep switching. Alright, let's see how it goes. 1-1-1. Game 4. You guys are getting a match today. We'll set Big Shield Gardener, set Kaiser Coliseum, set MST, and end. I'm confident that he won't be able to put up any monster on the board bigger than Big Shield Gardener by only using one monster. And I'll MST the first back row. It was the Regeki break. Perfect. We draw Magic Jammer. Switch Gardna to defense. Set Magic Jammer. So we have to worry about Tribe. We have to worry about Breaker. That's one card we don't have to worry about. Is the Tribe or Breaker. He sets Big Shield Gardna with Tsukiyomi. We get last turn. Okay, so we have Wall last turn. I'm happy with that. Now we just need a Jowgen, and then we can win. Let's go ahead. We'll negate Breaker, Graceful Charity, Gravity Bind, Spirit Reaper, Final Countdown. Definitely discard one Spirit Reaper. Maybe discard both Spirit Reapers. Activate Final Countdown. The only thing with Final Countdown, although it would start putting counters, I'm worried that he could then special summon BLS and activate Ring of Destruction, which would win him the game, because I couldn't negate it at the moment. So we'll go ahead, just set Gravity Bind and end. I want to keep my life points higher than 3,000. Card Destruction. Unfortunate. One. So he had 5 cards in hand. I could have Magic Jammered the Card Destruction now that I think about it, but it's fine. I still have another last turn. More Jowgens. I like keeping Magic Jammer for the things that can destroy my back row. We'll get rid of Jar of Greed. I don't think it's that important. Graceful Charity. A-OK by me. Tribe Infecting Virus, I could not negate with Gravity Bind, but he wouldn't be able to flip my Big Shield Gardna into face-up attack position, or will face up at all if he can't attack. So he discards the Light, though we already had the Asura Priest in Grave. Jar of Greed. Heavy Storm. Well, now we're going to negate. Opponent has 5 cards. I have 4. Banishing a Light in the Dark. BLS. I will use Gravity Bind. And end my turn. Heavy Storm's gone, so I'll set Wall of Revealing Light. I don't feel like I need to set anything else. He can't summon another monster, but he can banish with his BLS, and then he can summon another monster. But he can't attack unless it's a Sangan or Night Assailant, something that is level 3 or lower. Which I could, in theory, negate with the Wall of Revealing Light. He does banish. So he can summon as many monsters as he wants now, but they have to be level 3 or lower. I draw Pot of Greed. Magic Jammer, last turn. We'll go ahead. Set last turn. Set Spirit Reaper. Won't set Magic Jammer. And in draw, we'll 4,000 life points, followed by last turn. Can't let him banish with BLS. We're going to a game 5, I think. I assume this is a Magician of Faith, which is why I want to activate this now. Alright, everything goes to grave. It was the Magician of Faith. I had that read correct. I figured he was going to try to get back his Heavy Storm. Grave Robber. Interesting. But I don't think he has a monster that can... Yep, it's a tribe. But he can't get back anything, so offer a draw. If he had a Night Assailant, that would have been able to win, because he could summon the tribe and then pop the Spirit Reaper. Okay, game 5. Remember a long time ago I was playing a deck and my opponent got all salty and was saying, like, actually, best 3 of 5 is way better than best 2 out of 3, which, like, yeah, I guess objectively, by a bigger sample size, it will mean the better deck is more likely to win best 3 out of 5 versus best 2 out of 3. But I just was like, whatever. It's a 2 out of 3 match. That's how we play Yu-Gi-Oh! He was not happy about it. But now, your guys are getting a 5-game match. We'll activate Graceful Charity. Drawing Big Shield Gardna, Wall of Revealing Light, and Spirit Reaper. Discard Wall. And discard Wall. We just won't set the other wall until absolute last minute. We'll set Big Shield Gardna, set Jar of Greed, set nothing else. We'll just end. Hopefully, I should have set the Judgment in case he has a card destruction, now that I think about it. That would be the worst play, and he's opening up with what he would need if card destruction is to be as powerful as possible. Thunder Dragon giving him a free +1. Card destruction would then be able to turn that +1 into actual cards. Delinquent Duo. He hits the wall. Unfortunate. So we'll have to get to low life points another way, or win with Final Countdown. This is going to be tough, guys. I know, you're on the edge of your seats. You want to see what wins. It's a Sangan. Sangan will hit Big Shield Gardna. he will eat a bunch of life points, 1,600 to be exact, and Gardna will become attack position. I draw last turn. Standby, main. Let's activate Jar of Greed. Get Pot of Greed. Activate Pot of Greed. Get Magic Jammer and Swords of Revealing Light. We will change Gardna to defense, activate Area B, set Judgment, and Magic Jammer. Kaiser Coliseum would be really nice to draw. I would love to be at low life points for the last turn right now, because I don't know if he could summon anything bigger than Big Shield Gardna. Actually, it wouldn't even work, though, because it would allow him to summon a monster. We get the Jowgen. Okay. Let's go ahead and just end our turn. I wish the Wall of Revealing Light was still in my hand. That would have been the best, because I would have had the win right here, right now. Again, actually not really because of the Sangan, but what can you do? Opponent tributes, probably for a Thunder Dragon. We draw a Spirit Reaper. Let's go ahead. We'll set Spirit Reaper. We don't have Kaiser Coliseum yet, so I'm not too worried about putting another monster on the board. Of course, I'm probably going to draw Kaiser Coliseum next turn, and I will feel sad. Opponent gets the Spirit Reaper back to hand, sets a monster, and ends. We draw Jar of Greed. We'll set Jar of Greed and end. I need to get to low life points. Final Countdown could do it. Final Countdown plus a few judgments. Draw MST. Activate Jar of Greed. Draw another Jowgen. We'll set Jowgen and end. Nice long silent pause here. Kaiser Coliseum, okay. Do I want to set Kaiser Coliseum? I don't even think I do. I'm just going to end my turn. I want to keep my back row open so I can play other cards, like more Judgments or Final Countdown, etc., etc. Magician of Faith. That's fine. Torrential Tribute. That's A-okay. He's going to search his deck. Possessed Dark Soul. think that's fine. We'll send MST and Swords of Revealing Light to the graveyard. We'll probably be discarding Kaiser if he's to Heavy Storm. He banishes a Light and a Dark for Chaos Sorcerer. We'll eat 1,200. We will activate Magic Jammer on his Metamorphosis. I can't let him getting a Ryu Senshi onto the board. We'll upstart Goblin. Drawing Gravity Bind. A-OK. So I'm going to have to rely on Possessed Dark Soul, basically, to lower my life points to under 1,000. Area B. Pot of Greed. That's fine. 2,800. I could afford to do half. 2,800, Possessed Dark Soul. I just have to make sure, be a little careful. He metamorphoses again. Okay, is he going to go for another Ryu Senshi? I think he's going to have to. And I will half my life points. This is 15 on board. If he summons a Sangan or something, he would have to summon a level 3 with 1,300, which he doesn't. He summons 300. 300, 1,200. He messed up. He messed up. No. GG's. I had the game. That's so sad. Mystic Walk. Why is he playing Mystic Walk? That's weird. I mean, I wasn't playing a burn deck. It's just, I wonder why Mystic Walk. I mean, Marine Destruction's a good card, but why Mystic Walk? That just seems very strange, because it doesn't really do anything that I can think of. The Possessed Dark Soul is actually a really interesting counter to last turn. Because if, say, I had a Spirit Reaper, try to go for the draw again, he summons the Possessed Dark Soul, and then he can tribute it, taking the Spirit Reaper, and he would have the only monster in the end phase, which is, obviously the win condition for last turn. It wouldn't work with Jowgen, because he wouldn't be able to get the Spirit Reaper unless he had a Sangan on the field, which kind of came up. But, oh my god, that was an intense 5-game match. Wow. Gotta love last turn and its weird interactions, getting 2 draws in the same match. Unfortunately, no wins, but we did get ourselves a single Final Countdown game win, so, the deck did what it needed to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this, at least as much as me. I don't know if you did. It's a freaking Final Countdown deck, so, it's hard to watch sometimes, hard to play, but, I had fun doing it. So thank you all for watching. I'm the YuGiOh Scrub. Goodbye.